Well, see, when you look at somebody like me, I grew up here. There's nothing you can tell me about Memphis that I don't already know.
There's nothing you can tell me about Memphis.
From the boardroom to the streets.
I don't already know.
With Mike from Memphis, man. Together, we can fix things. Really.
When you say, I want to be treated fairly, and I want a voice.
Yeah.
I want
He saw things weren't fair, so he chose to run for mayor. You get up and do something when you really care. It's Memphis 360.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
In the meantime,
It's Memphis 360.
In the meantime, in between time, we got folks shooting people up out the frame. Anybody said a word. We've become accustomed to people dying in this city.
Yeah. It's Memphis 360.
Turning the TV on and the news and see our loved ones and see young people that are out of control. And now you see, okay. We talk about incarceration. We talk about the youth. We talk about giving them the ability. We talk about investing in young people and investing in the community. See, I hate ignorance. I hate when people make decisions about things and they make statements and they haven't done their research.
How can you fix the problem when you don't even know what the problem is?
We need some help in this city.
It's Memphis 360.
See, I hate ignorance.
It's Memphis 360. Man.
And good evening. We'd like to welcome you to another edition of Memphis 360, the television show that we said we'd like to go from the boardroom to the streets. And the reason we say the boardroom to the streets because all of the ills and woes that are out there in the streets, we got individuals that are trying to fix these things and they don't have a clue about what's going on out here in the streets, and they act as if they really don't have a clue about what the citizens want. I just saw Coleman Thompson, who posted on Facebook. He wants to talk about the trauma that's being experienced by the citizens of the city of Memphis. I first want to say, man, God is good. And not just now. I put a post up and said that, you know, how good God is and different things like that. And somebody said he's good all the time, and he is. But a lot of people don't know, on last Friday, my daughter was in an accident, and it's only by the grace of God that she is still here. The other individual was actually killed in the accident, actually died. My daughter was actually rushed to St. Francis Bartlett, and they ended up transferring her to Regional 1 because she needed to be seen by trauma doctors. But thank God, she is home and recouping. But I tell you, if you saw pictures of her car, it would bring to reality just how good God is, because that car, she had a Challenger, black on black, beautiful car, blacked out. And it wasn't her fault. The individual, they don't know if he was sick or what happened, but he drifted over about 3 or 4 lanes and hit her coming head on. She was actually on her way to work. But I wanted to get that in because, you know, a lot of times people think there's nothing going on in my life. And I can tell you about another serious incident, but I haven't gotten permission to talk about that one, that has occurred in my life recently as well. And it's only by the grace of God and the hedge of protection that God keeps putting around me that allows me the ability to continue. But there's a lot going on in my life. Now, the number to call is 244-6874, 244-6874. And I would like for you guys to be a part of this conversation. You know, I've just reached a point whereas I get stars now. I didn't even know that. I get stars. I have like 20-some thousand followers, and it just like, boom, just happened. And I guess I just monetized my page. I ain't trying to get paid for what's going on my page, but it just excites me that you guys out there did that. You guys are the 20-some thousand followers that I have that have brought me to the point to where as now Facebook has come to me and says, you can receive stars. You need to start monetizing. And I was like, wow, okay, good. But I want to thank you guys for that as well. That is a blessing. But I do want you to call in. The number is 244-6874, 244-6874, 901-244-6874. Because there's some things I want to discuss, and I want to see how you feel about these things as citizens. You know, when we talk about some of the things that are happening here in the city of Memphis, anybody that has been watching know that Memphis is almost like the wild, wild west. It's like without order. It's like things are happening all over the place. And we got people, city council members, that are trying to make decisions. They're doing reforms. They're doing all kinds of things that affect you, the citizens, directly. So I want you to tell me how you feel. Now, you can also catch this show on Uverse, Apple TV, Roku, Comcast Channel 17, and you can catch it on the SVP TV network. We're all over the place when it comes to this show. And you can also catch it on Fire TV. So good things are happening here over at the SVP TV network. I want to let you guys know I have had the honor bestowed upon me also. April the 1st, I will be the keynote speaker at the Manassas High School Alumni Brunch. Manassas High School has one of the biggest alumni associations, one of the most active alumni associations. And God, man, they have blessed me and asked me to be the keynote speaker. Ain't that something? That's probably one of the biggest honors. I have spoken all over the world and to all types of audiences. I have briefed generals. I have briefed, as an intel officer, heads of state in other countries. But this is probably one of the biggest honors bestowed upon me because it allows me the ability to go back home, which is here in Memphis, but back home to my neighborhood. It gives me the ability to go back and speak to those that came before me, the ability to speak to those that I grew up with, the ability to speak to those that are coming behind me at Manassas High School. You hear me talk about Manassas all the time. And this is an honor and a privilege to be asked to be the keynote speaker for the yearly alumni brunch, which will be April the 1st over at Holiday Inn University of Memphis. And I'm excited. They want me to talk about the future and all of those good things. So I am definitely writing my little speech, preparing to go back and address those that I grew up with and those that I am standing on the shoulders of. So thank you so much, Manassas Alumni Association, for actually bestowing that honor upon me. Now, I want to talk about first Chief C.J. Davis. Chief C.J. Davis. How do you feel about Chief C.J. Davis? She came in a couple of years ago when Director Rollins left, and they dropped her in the middle of all of this chaos and confusion. Me personally, I don't know Chief C.J. Davis, have not really talked to C.J. Davis. I think I met her in person one time. It was at a choir practice that the Memphis Police Association had when she first got here. And I said that I would not talk about Chief C.J. Davis. I wouldn't say anything negative about her or anything like that, not because I like what she's doing, but I said I wouldn't do it because I wanted to give her an opportunity to actually prove herself and professional courtesy to be able to, as a female black, to come in here and hopefully do great and wonderful things, and I could just kind of sit back and not say anything or anything like that. But since this, and even before the Tyree Nichols thing, I have been kind of watching Chief C.J. Davis and the individual that she brought in with her, Sean Jones. Now, let's not forget, everybody talk about Chief C.J. Davis, but she brought somebody in with her, and his name is Sean Jones. She made him a deputy chief or what have you. So it's like her right-hand man. She brought somebody in to watch her back, which, hey, I understand. If I had to go into an organization and I'm the only one going into the organization, I would love to have somebody there to watch my back to ensure that nobody's trying to cut my throat or do some dirty stuff. Because I tell you, the police can be a little brutal, and it is dog-eat-dog in that culture, okay? But I'm going to tell you, I was upset because if you remember the process when they brought Chief C.J. Davis in, there were local candidates that were highly qualified and that were seeking that job. You know, you had Don Crow, you had Sam Hines, and Jesus, I feel bad because I've been gone so long, I can't remember the name of the young lady, African-American young lady who was also applying for that job. And she was good. She is good. And if I think of it, I'm going to tell you. Somebody out there, you know who I'm talking about, please tell me the name of, she's a female chief that's up there now. I just can't think of her name. But she is good. All of these guys have proven themselves to be worthy to be the director of the Memphis Police Department. They actually had to change the title to chief in order to get Chief C.J. Davis in here and all of that, because he used to be the director of the Memphis Police Department. What is the young lady's name, Fred? What's the lady's name that's up there? Hampton. God, would nobody help me out? Thank you, Misha. My daughter did. Chief Hampton. How could I remember this? Forget Chief Hampton. Chief Hampton was so good, so kind, and so gracious to me. And what I liked about Chief Hampton was Chief Hampton, she was hard when she needed to be, but she also was a human and showed humanistic qualities. And she was a product of the city of Memphis. And she also goes to, I don't want to say, it's not Mississippi Boulevard. It's over there on South Parkway. St. Andrews. She's a member of St. Andrews. And she's done a lot of good things. Sam Hines came up on the TAC unit, came up through the Memphis Police Department, you know, all of that good stuff in the community, good guy. And what I liked about Sam was like this. Sam is like this. Just like when they had that big to-do out there in Fraser and everybody was all crazy and throwing bottles at the police and all of that, Sam was one of those individuals who said, look, let me tell you something. This ain't gonna happen no more. You got away with that one, but we're not gonna let police officers just stand around and get hurt, you know what I mean, about nothing. The police had nothing to do with that incident. It was the marshals that actually arrested and killed that young man. The police just went in to maintain law and order out there in the Fraser community. They had nothing to do with that incident. However, they were the ones, them and Memphis Fire Department personnel were the ones that received the brunt of what happened. But Sam said, no, you know. And what I like about that is, I get it. We got to show respect to citizens, or the police have to show respect to citizens, because I'm not a police officer anymore. You have to be a servant to the citizens of the city of Memphis. But see, it's two sides, and we can't just, and we'll talk about that when we get to the reforms. It's two sides. You can't just go, okay, yes, yeah, we love you, kumbaya, this, that, and the other, because you got guys out here having shootouts in the middle of the streets. You got guys out here that are stealing cars all over the place. You got guys out here that are harming innocent citizens, and somebody got to get at that booty. So I think Sam would be one of the ones who would let you get at that booty, but you got to still play by the rules of the game. You got Don Crow, who was instrumental in a lot of the technology on the Memphis Police Department. I think Don worked over, he always told me to call him Don. I ain't calling you Don. I wouldn't when I was on the police department, because I was still a patrolman, and I wasn't gonna do that to Don. But he always tell everybody, call me Don. I ain't calling you Don, sir. But I can call you Don now. But Chief Crow, Don, got the technology thing going on. Chief Crow came up through the ranks. Chief Crow, I believe, was over in OCU and did a lot of good things over in OCU and different things like that. So I say all of that to say we had individuals right here in the city of Memphis that knew the citizens in the city of Memphis, knew the inner workings of the Memphis Police Department. A lot of people were saying that that may not have been such a good thing because, you know, because they're embedded in the police department. But what I am finding, one of the things that I don't like about Chief C.J. Davis is I don't feel she's connected to the community. She may be an excellent individual. She's very astute. I know she's very knowledgeable. I know that when it comes to public, because you don't see her in the public a lot. A lot of people say she's been missing. And we, the citizens of the city of Memphis, are used to our police director, our police chief actually staying in touch with us, letting us know what's going on, talking to us, having a conversation about what's happening here in the city of Memphis. And with all of this crime that has escalated, we need that even more so now because we need to know what's going on with the police department. We need to know what's happening because guess what? A lot of those people on the police department are our relatives. A lot of those people on the police department are our sons and daughters and nieces and nephews and cousins. And we're very concerned about the inner workings of the Memphis Police Department, just as we are about the citizenry out here in the city. And then we're very concerned when we have incidences like what happened with Tyre Nichols. And I think that Chief Davis acted in the right manner, but I don't think she had a choice. It was too out in the open. It was nothing you could hide. If you stood there and went, oh, nothing happened, everybody's gonna look at you like you done lost your daggone mind. So what do? You put it all out there. So that was a gimme for her as far as I was concerned. Welcome to Memphis 360. This is Mike Williams. You're on the air.
You know, when Tony Armstrong was the police chief, even you, because you was the union man.
Yep.
Mike Rowland was in charge. All three of you guys was from Memphis.
Correct.
I'm just saying this right here.
Correct.
Now, and you got major radio stations in Memphis. You know, black formatted radio station.
Mm-hmm.
You can almost call the radio and find out who's crooked.
Right. Right.
Davis came here. She's from North Carolina.
Right.
She come from Atlanta because they got it going on in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And she said they had to lower their standard to get some officers to join it for us and give them their incentive pay.
Are you talking about here in Memphis, Alan? Alan, are you talking about here in Memphis?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, sir.
go ahead. I'm just trying to make sure everybody understands.
Right. You know, when you said when you bring in an outside,
Yeah.
those guys wasn't ready to be police officers. They had low morale because they didn't give a hoot about Tyree.
Okay.
You know why? I tell people this when I used to go somewhere. I used to say it on the radio like when I was in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
I got my cousin's on the police force. His
Okay.
wife on the police force.
Okay.
There's no way they would have did Tyre Nichols if he would have went to high school
Mm-hmm.
or he went to college down there because everybody got friends in high places.
Right. Right.
See, CJ brought him in. I think because I used to even call Mike Rollins' secretary and talk to him. But Mike Rollins was a good man. He was from Memphis because I think he said because he always spoke about his dad. Tony Armstrong would talk to you. He would talk to you. You know the other guy, your best friend. He had he still got a talk show, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? Can I call his name?
Nope.
No, your best friend. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
The shock value guy.
I know who you're talking about. No, I don't want to call his name on my show.
Right, but check this out, though. See, CJ was brought in. I said she's gonna fail.
Right.
Because she didn't like to go to the radio station and tell the people, y'all can
Right.
trust me.
Mm-hmm.
That you can. This is what I'm saying. That those officers, I can look at them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them real dark, and I said, dark brothers, they are mean and everything.
Oh Lord, here you go stereotyping.
They didn't want to live in the city.
Okay.
And they didn't want. They probably just had low morale, and they probably getting incentive pay. And look how they did this guy. There's no
Right.
way they would have did this. Never done it.
Okay.
If we would have went to elementary school in Memphis,
Mm-hmm.
high school in Memphis,
Mhm.
because I got friends too. See, they travel like a pack of wolves.
Okay.
And a lot of black guys know the police, you know, especially they under the microscope.
Right.
I got powerful friends too.
Okay.
I told one guy when I was in Memphis, Mike, I said, I know the police union, the guy, he's an older union. I said, he's a preacher. To let him know that you have to respect me because I still look young. Sometimes that would save your life.
Right.
And they whooped Tyree right in front of, right in front of his mother's house.
Okay.
And because Tyree was from Sacramento.
Right.
When you move into an urban city, you got to know the city.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you this right here. You know,
Okay.
Mike Rollins,
Okay, Alan, I got to give somebody else a chance. I got to get somebody. Go ahead.
Michael Harrison.
Yeah.
Michael Harrison.
Okay.
He's best friend with Mike Rollins, and he stays on the black radio format up here with Kathy Hughes.
Okay.
You almost can know the crooked talk by calling the radio station and spill it on them
Oh.
and snitching on the radio.
Okay, Alan, I don't want to cut you off, but I got to let somebody else get on.
Black radio is almost like you tell all you.
Alan.
Respect for what?
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Alan.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Bye. Hey, that was Alan Hadley. Used to be on all of the stations here. Used to call in the WDIA, all of those stations, and that was his perspective. Now, I want to tell you this. Chief C.J. Davis did not bring those guys in. Now, she was responsible for them being on the Scorpion unit. I think all of those guys on the Scorpion unit were hand-picked. So that was her and Sean Jones that allowed those individuals to be on the Scorpion team. There are a lot of people that think Chief C.J. Davis should be held responsible just as those officers are held responsible, because if there was no supervision, which they tried to get Lieutenant Smith, and they were trying to decertify Lieutenant Smith. They didn't want Lieutenant Smith to retire. You had city council people, some, but that just shows you people don't know the law, people don't know the charter, people don't know the MOU. It's a lot of things. You can't just do stuff to people. First of all, Lieutenant Smith had done his 25 years. You couldn't stop him from retiring. The charter says that if, in fact, you have reached retirement age, you can retire. You don't have to ask nobody to retire. You retire. The other thing is that unless he is locked up in jail, incarcerated, convicted of a crime, he can get his pension. I'm saying this man done worked 25 years paying into this pension plan, which is worth, I believe at the time I was there, over $2 billion. You cannot stop this man from getting the money that he put into the pension plan. So I know a lot of people didn't understand, and they wanted to try to, well, how can this man get his pension? He wasn't convicted of a crime. He may have been fired from his job, but he had completed the requirement of 25 years, and he was blessed because it was only by a week or two that he actually completed that, but he did complete it. So therefore, he was entitled to get his money back that he had put into the pension plan. He doesn't have a job, so then they were trying to decertify him. They didn't even know if they could or could not decertify a retired officer. So back to C.J. Davis, and the reason why I came to this. I want to ask you a question, and please call. The number is 244-6874, 244-6874. Do you think Chief C.J. Davis should stay or should go? How do you feel about Chief C.J. Davis? Do you think she should stay or do you think she should go? The number to call is 901-244-6874, 244-6874. Now I'm going to tell you what caught my eye was there's an article, there was a forum in regards to all of these candidates that are running for mayor of Memphis, and that's a whole nother issue and a whole nother story. And I think that there is a candidate, Frank Covett. It says, Memphis mayoral candidate Police Chief Davis has to go. This ain't what Mike Williams said. This is what City Councilman Frank Covett told KWAM if he becomes the next mayor of Memphis. Police C.J. Davis is getting the heave-ho. After Tyree Nichols and all that has gone, especially after the last year, we just need a fresh start. Covett said when asked by KWAM host Todd Starnes. Your own Memphis 360. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I'm all in your comment section.
Okay. Okay. Who is this? Who is this?
Jeff Lee.
Jeff. What's up, Jeff Lee? This is the world-renowned Jeff Lee. Was a DJ here in the city of Memphis and still DJing here in the city of Memphis.
Low guy.
Whatever, Jeff. Go ahead, man.
I was like, I wanted to give C.J. Davis, a chance.
Okay.
Get in here and do a thing, but I'm like, no, the crime scene I got worse.
Yes. Yes.
Not even a candidate on the list.
Oh, wow.
So I think he just brought in, somebody he could control.
Oh, really?
He control it. Look, extreme high shouldn't be police chief, period.
Right.
Well, it is what it is. Now we got to deal with, who's going to be the mayor in October, man.
Right.
I just,
Well, that's.
I want to call and tell you you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff, and tell them your show and when they can listen in.
I'm on right now. So you got me Monday through Friday from 5 to 7 on Memphis Dons online. It was funny you said Dons when I was tripping off there.
Okay, there you have it. Hey, thank you so much for calling in, Jeff.
All right, thanks, man.
Hey, thank you. Okay, anybody else got any input on Chief C.J. Davis? The number to call is 901-244-6874, 901-244-6874. See, this is why I need my regular engineer here, because they would put it up on the screen and all that good stuff. But anyway, he talked about Tyre. He said, Davis is under fire for her handling of the Tyre Nichols investigation. The mayoral candidate added, C.J. Davis is my friend. But at the end of the day, this mayor cannot go forward, and I don't know that she would want to go forward with the same leadership. Covette told Wake Up Memphis, the culture within the Memphis Police Department is corrupt and needs to reform. Now, I got a problem with Covette saying the culture in the Memphis Police Department is corrupt, because what he's doing then is putting a label on the entire police department. So I don't know about that, Frank Covette. I don't know about that statement, because I will tell you that there are a lot of police officers that are here. And this is what runs me crazy. I think what happened with Mr. Tyre Nichols should have never happened. To me, it was almost like George Floyd, whatever. I think that was an anomaly. I think it was an isolated incident, because guess what? How long have we had these body cameras? Years and years and years. How many incidences like that have you seen to say that the Memphis Police Department is corrupt, or that there are incidences like that that are occurring all the time? Not a whole lot. And I'm not trying to defend the Memphis Police Department, but I am, I'm one of them facts guys. Show me the facts. Show me where the Memphis Police Department is corrupt. Show me where you've had multiple incidences like this incident that happened with Mr. Tyre Nichols. Show me those incidences. Do you have bad police officers? I'm not going to fight with you. Yes, you do. Do you have incidences that may occur where officers may go overboard? Yes, you do. But that don't necessarily mean you have a corrupt police department. When I think of corrupt, I think of individuals that are taking money. I think of individuals that are trying to use the system to their benefit. That's corruption. Can you have an abusive police department? Yes, you can. Do I think the Memphis Police Department is an abusive police department? No, I do not. Because more officers on the Memphis Police Department have been vindicated because of the body camera than individuals that have been convicted by the body camera. And see, that's why I always say elected individuals or individuals that are running for office, you have to be careful what you say, because you get that press coverage and people listen to what you say. Some people don't have the wherewithal to do the research to come up to their own conclusion in regards to what's happening or what has happened, okay? So you got people like Mr. Covette. I agree with him, and I think whatever mayor get in there, because there was another article, and I got to see where it's at, but there's another article that talks about a couple of the other candidates that are running for office, and those individuals are also saying, oh yeah, here we go. Crime and Memphis Police Chief Saralyn Davis were brought up repeatedly. Candidates Michelle McKissick, Judge Joe Brown, Frank Covert, Joe W. Gibson shared their promises if they were to serve as mayor. Crime and the Memphis Police Chiefs were brought up repeatedly, with the community laser focused on each candidate position on Chief Davis remaining in her position. Covert and Brown quickly answered no. They would not retain Chief Davis if elected, but both McKissick and Gibson said they needed more time to think about removing the chief and instead have conversations with her. What I've seen over the last several months, with just the lack of accountability, the lack of leadership, and with the lower ranks, right now the answer looks like no, McKissick said. But again, I have not had a conversation. That's what I plan to do in the upcoming months. I just don't see there's much there right now. There's too much there right now. I say going forward, we need a fresh start. The candidate forums comes just the day after the candidate of Shelby County, Floyd Bonner. That's another thing. We got so many individuals, so many black individuals that are running for mayor. And the problem is we have so many black individuals that are running for mayor that are prominent African Americans in this community, and they have the ability. They're going to split the vote, people. A lot of people keep asking me, Michael, you should run, you should run, you should run. And I said, why? I said, it's just only going to add to the problem. It's not going to fix the problem, because I might get 2 or 3 votes, and a couple of people may vote for me. But at the same time, a lot of people are going to vote for Floyd Bonner. You're going to have a lot of people that are going to vote for, a lot of black people that are going to vote for Mayor Harrington. We still call him Mayor Harrington. There are a lot of black people that are going to vote for Van Turner. Black people are going to vote for Paul Young. Black people are going to vote for Miss McKissick. And then you have the minority speaker of the House, Karen Camper. She's going to be in there. Then you got J.W. Gibson. I mean, and the list goes on and on and on. And then you got Covert. Covert, white guy, over here, just kind of sitting back looking. Yeah, y'all go ahead. Y'all gonna run. Y'all run. Run, people, run. Yes. And, you know, nothing against Covert. I've dealt with Mr. Covert when I was the president of the Police Association. He was always gracious to me, but I'm just telling you how this works. That's how Strickland got in, because at that time in 2015, you had myself running for mayor. You had Mr. A.C. Warden running for mayor, and you had the county CAO that also ran for mayor at that time. So we split the black vote. Mr. Harold Collins, we split the black vote. Mr. Strickland walked right on by us. So, and that was just 3. Me, Harold Collins, and A.C. Warden. There was a couple of other people on there, but they didn't draw as many votes. But now you got some big hitters that are running. You got Mayor Harrington. Hey. You got Floyd Bonner. Hey. You got Karen Camper. Hey. You got Van Turner, president of NAACP. Hey. You got Paul Young, Downtown Commission. Hey. You got J.W. Gibson, millionaire. Hey. You got Miss McKissick on the school board, acted as, well, the acting school board president during the George Ray incident. I have issues with that too, but you know, that's a whole nother deal. But you got all of these high-powered individuals that are run. Oh, thank you, Alan. And I forgot Judge Joe Brown. Judge Joe Brown is running as well. But anyway, so a lot of these individuals have already said that if in fact they get elected, as the next mayor of the city of Memphis, that she would not be the police chief. So I will want you guys to talk to me, to tell me what you think about it. How do the citizens really feel? What kind of job that the chief has done? Now, I have heard some people say that they think she has done a wonderful job, being that she has been put into a situation that was already, the crime was already on the rise, the murder rate was already setting records, and all of that. And a lot of people think the hand that she was given, she is doing a wonderful job. But then I've also heard individuals that say they don't think she has ties to the community. They think that she's been given an opportunity and the crime has only gotten worse. So because the crime has gotten worse under her leadership, and they are also saying because of the Tyree Nichols incident, those individuals that are in charge, the leadership, should also be held accountable, because if you were in a company or a corporation or something to that effect, then the individuals that are in charge of that company and that company go bankrupt, or they're in charge of that company and that company does something wrong, then they're held accountable from the bottom to the top, because realistically the top is overall responsible for what occurs within that organization. Now, I would still say that I think what the Tyree Nichols incident was an anomaly. I think it was something that happened, and I think it's something that needed to be dealt with, because we got so many good officers in this city that are dealing with issues all the time, that are running their own foundations, that are out here helping children, that are talking people off the bridge, that are running in the middle of gunfire trying to help those individuals that are being shot at. They're chasing individuals that are shooting at them every day. We got police officers that are actually out here just riding on patrol and individuals are shooting at them. We got officers that are running these bureaus that are understaffed and undermanned, and they're under a lot of stress. But guess what? They keep right on moving. They keep right on dealing. And one of the things I wanted to talk about is, everybody know, man, crime is off the chain. So the Memphis City Council put forth all of these referendums, or not referendums, they put together all of these ordinances to do reform. They want to reform the police department. Now, like I told you, I don't have a problem with some reforms, but I also think that some of the stuff you do is stupid. You do stupid stuff to try to appease the public. But what does that truly do? That emboldens criminals. Because you don't think they watch the news, they sitting there smoking their blunt. Man, look at them fools, man. Look at them. Yeah, yeah. And then you got legislators in Nashville that are also watching. Do you know they're trying to pass a law that if somebody is stealing your car, you can kill them, you can shoot them to defend your property? And you got people here in the city of Memphis that are saying, yay, I'm sick of people taking my stuff. I'm saying the political machine is moving in all kinds of ways and directions. But let's get back to the Memphis City Council. So you got people down there that are saying, we want more reforms. We want the police to not be able to do anything. We don't want them to do traffic stops. We don't want them to use unmarked cars. We don't want them to be out here doing policey stuff. Well, night before last, or last night, South Haven, Mississippi, they having shootouts. In Bartlett, they're having shootouts. They're showing videos where individuals are out here breaking in cars. They're standing up with assault rifles, standing guard, hoping somebody come out, or if somebody pop out, they gonna shoot them. I had a city councilman call me because he was like, well, Michael, You know, I'm always open to suggestions, and I don't know why you think that we are trying to stifle the police because that's what you say. And I told him, I said, sir, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not against reforms, but I am against stupidity. What do you mean, Michael? Well, I'm against, first of all, you doing things to appease people. I'm against that. I am against you putting on a front. I'm against that. I am against you putting mechanisms in place that's going to stop good police officers from policing. Well, Michael, what do you mean? If you make it so crazy and you put so many restrictions on the good police officers, they're going to sit back and watch, and they're going to be a responsive police department as opposed to a proactive police department, because they don't want to be the next headline story. Now, I'm not saying they should go out there and be a Tyree Nichols, but what I am telling you is if somebody's out here robbing somebody, if somebody's out here shooting in the city streets, somebody's shooting at the police, I want the police to shoot them dead. What you say, Miss Debbie? Oh, I want the police to be able to shoot them dead. I want the citizens to be able to shoot them dead. Because see, they out here shooting cars up, they killing innocent people, they killing babies, they going in robbing folk, they doing all kinds of things because you have emboldened them. You have made them feel as though it's okay to do that. When you got 11-year-olds that are out here robbing, carjacking, and they're right back out on the streets in 2-3 days, it's okay. You know, when my daughter was in this wreck Friday, and we were out at St. Francis Bartlett, it was so nice, so nice and quiet and peaceful. But then they transferred her to the Med. The Med is the best trauma center in the region. The Med is known for bringing people back from the dead. But I'm going to tell you, when I was down at the Med, I had to start watching my back because it was some unsavory little people down there. And I'm talking 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. And that is sad. Young black boys. Man, that fat blankety blank, man, I'm going to beat the blank out of blank. And I'm sitting here, I'm 63 years old, people, and I'm sitting here looking. So I go try to get in the hospital, and I couldn't get in the hospital. Because the Med has a policy. Even today, only 2 people can visit a person that day. Well, my ex-wife, which is my daughter's mother, she had beat me to the hospital, so she was already back there with my daughter, so they wouldn't let me come in. I was like, wow, my daughter's in the trauma center, and I can't even get in the hospital. But you know what? I wasn't mad. I was mad, but I wasn't mad because I understand they got to keep control of that place, because you got little Kiki, little woo-woo, little Bootsy down there getting shot. Now all their little friends coming down there, and they off the chain, people. They are, unfortunately. So I finally go home because I couldn't get in. Her mom stayed with her for that night, and I come the next day. So I'm down there that day. They finally moved her to a room. So we down there. I'm down there all day, and she had another visitor. One of her friends came. Her mom come to the hospital later that evening. Her mom couldn't get in. I was like, this is wild. But guess what? All these little folk getting shot and stabbed and killed and all of that, all they little gang coming down, they little boys coming down, and it is crazy down there at the Med. So they done put all of these restrictions in place. Guess what? Her mom could not get in the hospital that day. They only allow 2 people to visit an individual a day. And her mom said, well, can't one of them come down and I can come up? They said, no, only 2 people per day. But it's because of all of the craziness that's happening in this city. and good law-abiding people are being affected. So yeah, I don't know if I want people killing people over property. I don't know. But guess what? Those good legislators up there in Nashville, they getting ready to put some laws in place that's going to allow other individuals to protect their stuff. You know, they say that a car is the second largest purchase that you make. We've had over almost 3,000 vehicles just in 2023 that have been stolen already here in the city of Memphis. That is crazy. 3,000 vehicles already? The impound lot out there is already full. You had somebody shoot at somebody over on Madison, remember? They were trying to break in their car. You had somebody else shoot at somebody else down in downtown because a 12-year-old was involved. He didn't get shot, but he was out there with the people that were actually breaking into somebody's car. Citizens are getting tired, and citizens are afraid, and citizens are starting to take actions into their own hands. Something has to be done. We have to have lawmakers, legislators, leaders in this city that say, we will not tolerate what happened to Tyree Nichols. But you can't be listening to all them little folks that's out there in the crowd at City Hall with them signs. Because, see, a lot of them don't represent, and don't get me wrong, they have a voice. I am not talking against them. They have a voice. But you got 40 people in there. That's a small segment of 500 or 670,000 people in this city. Over 900,000 individuals that are in this county that utilize the city of Memphis on a daily basis. So what I am saying is you cannot allow individuals to use this as a platform for their agenda items to be able to do what they need to do. You got hardworking citizens that work in this city every day that are afraid. You got individuals that don't want to come downtown because they feel like their cars are going to get broken into. You got individuals that are now staying home and don't want to participate in a lot of the great things that you have going on here in the city of Memphis. I took my daughter to Universal Soul Circus. We went in the daytime, but we went to Universal Soul Circus. I have an 11-year-old, and it's glass on the ground where they done busted car windows out. It's crazy. Just like Coleman Thompson mentioned earlier in the broadcast, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Ms. Swearingen? What are you going to do, Mr. Morgan? What are you going to do, Mr. Covett? What are you going to do, Ms. Robinson? What are you going to do, Mr. Jones? What are you going to do, Ms. Johnson? What are you going to do, Mr. Ford? I know I'm missing somebody. Charge it to my head and I'm hard on city council. What are you going to do to protect the citizens? Okay, you've done your reforms. I think you did your second vote. And then the individuals that were in the audience got mad because you changed it a little bit. I thank Martavius Jones because Martavius Jones said, this ain't going to go. I can't go for this. Because he understood that if you handcuff the police too much, you know, there has to be a parallel. Hey, let's do some reforms, people, because we want to make sure that the police are held accountable. But let's also put some mechanisms in place to whereas they can get at that booty of all them criminals and crooks that are out there that are victimizing law-abiding, tax-paying, hard-working citizens. You can do both. It doesn't have to be one or the other because they over here crying with their signs saying, oh, Lord Jesus, I've been a victim, I've been a victim. And most of them never been a victim. Some of them have. I ain't say all. Some of them are just individuals that like being activists. Some of them get paid to be activists, and that's their job. Okay, knock yourself out. But guess what? I pay taxes because I work. I pay taxes because I've worked a long time. A lot of individuals pay taxes because they're out here working every day. And yes, they want a house and a home. And yes, they want a nice car. And yes, they want to be able to go to Grizzly games. And yes, they want to go to concerts at the FedEx Forum. And yes, they want to go to all of this stuff that Mr. Strickland is talking about building. And the $700 million he's talking about spending over at the Fairground Project. And yes, that's my tax dollars because I work hard every day. So he wants to take my money and build all of this stuff. But guess what? If he's going to build it, I want to come to it. I want to be a part of it. I want to experience it. I want to be able to enjoy it. But I have to give second thoughts when, man, my car going to get broken into? Am I going to get robbed? Am I going to have to shoot somebody? And then their mama going to be on the news hollering about, oh, Mike Williams killed my son. Call, what's his name? What's the lawyer name? Call him, Ben Crump. Call Reverend Al, Mike Williams. Even though he's a citizen now, we know he used to be a police officer. He was trained by the Memphis Police Department. He was trained by the United States Army. He shouldn't have killed that little 13-year-old boy. But ain't nobody gonna say nothing about the 13-year-old boy having a daggone gun, trying to steal my car. But it ain't about the car once I see the gun, it's about my life. Well, they just want to kill little black boys. Who out here with the switches, people? Who out here stealing cars? Who you seeing on the news? When you pick up the thing for South Haven this morning, who is this guy? 20-year-old black man. Oh, by the way, 3 of them got away. So that means they out there to still commit crimes. Who's going to stand up for the citizens, the hardworking citizens in the city? Michael, you sound like a Republican. No, I don't. I sound like an individual that work hard every day. I sound like an individual that want to enjoy the twilight of my life. I sound like an individual that still have hope for this city. I sound like an individual who is an optimist as opposed to a pessimist. I have not given up on the city of Memphis. I think the city of Memphis has so much potential, and I think the city of Memphis can still be pulled out of this slump and this stupor. Guess what? We did it once before. Crime was on the rise in the late 80s and the early 90s. But guess what? We had to start policing. But that's what people don't want you to do for some stupid reason. I'm saying if you commit a crime, you need to do the time. If you take somebody's stuff, you need to be held accountable. If you rob somebody, you need to go to jail and you need to be held there. I ain't out here robbing nobody. I'm not out here. Look, I'm not even crazy. Hey, if people want to smoke dope, let them smoke dope. They want to smoke weed, let them smoke weed. Go and legalize this weed. They doing it everywhere else. You can go to Colorado, get weed. You can go to California, get weed. You can go to Illinois, get weed. Hell, you can go to Mississippi and get somebody to manufacture you a little health card. You can get weed. You can go to Arkansas, get weed. You ain't going to stop it, people. It's just like with alcohol during Prohibition. Weed is going to be here because guess what? It grows out of the ground. Now, I ain't with all of this fentanyl and Waukesha, codeine syrup, and all this other stuff that they taking, X and Molly's and crack. Believe it or not, people are still smoking crack out here, y'all. Yeah, I've been hearing about it lately. And all this other stuff that they're taking, manufactured drugs. I'm not with all of that. I'm truly not. But I ain't all that crazy about cracking down on people that smoke weed. Let them smoke it. Knock yourself out. Just don't smoke it around me. Smoke it in the privacy of your home. Because if you go to Vegas, you walking them down the streets, you smell it everywhere. You go to California, it's everywhere. You go to Illinois, it's everywhere. And a lot of times, when I worked on Beale Street, people would come here and be walking up and down the street smoking it openly because where they're from, they smoke it. And they don't know that it's not legal here in Tennessee and in the city of Memphis. But anyway, so people need to be held accountable. And you politicians, some of you guys are making it worse for us, the citizens in this city, because you're putting too many restrictions on the police. Look, hold the police accountable. Dadgummit, if you do wrong, get them. Get them. But don't make it so they can't police, they don't want to police, because that means they're not protecting me, they're not protecting my property, they're not protecting my interests. And I'm going to tell you, as a veteran that jumped into Kuwait, as a veteran that went up the Al-Basra Highway, as a veteran that has experienced things with the 101st Airborne Division, with 5th Special Forces Group, that people probably would never want to experience. As an individual that worked in South Memphis, out in Orange Mound, Castalia, Florida, Kansas, as an individual that was at South Parkway in Latham when individual was shot in the neck, as an individual that was in the Washington Manor apartments when a little 7, 8, 9-year-old boy was shot through the eye. I don't like any of that. But I'm scared out here. And don't get it twisted. A lot of times I'm not afraid for me. I'm more afraid of what somebody may make me do to them. And that's the way a lot of people feel. And I know that if I overreact or if I do something, they're going to have me all, Ernie going to be talking about me on Channel 13. Mike Williams, we was waiting on him to snap. Oh, Jesus Christ. But anyway, hey man, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I want to thank Alan for calling. I want to thank Jeff for calling. I ain't have but 2 callers. I wish some more of you guys would have called in, because I got people all over here on my Facebook page that are making comments and doing things. They just don't want to be on the air, I guess. They don't want to talk to me, and that's fine. Most good citizens ain't ready to pop off like that. But I know a lot of you guys are feeling the same way that I feel. Jay said post-traumatic stress disorder. That's what they say, Jay, post-traumatic stress disorder. But I know a lot of citizens out there feel the same way that I feel. You know, you're very hesitant about going to certain places and doing certain things. You're watching your environment. You're watching your surroundings. You got to be cognizant of where you are when you're there. If you don't remember last week, the criminal court clerk, Heidi Kuhn, her car was taken at a gas station on Germantown Parkway. So it's not just relegated to the inner city, the black neighborhood anymore. It's going further and further out. We're hearing about things that are happening in Lakeland. We hear about things that are happening in Millington. We're hearing about things that are happening in Arlington. We're hearing about things that are just happening. Bartlett, I think Bartlett got in a shootout with some guys, you know what I'm saying? So it's happening all over the place. But I'm gonna tell you about them other places. You hear about it, and then it's gone. Here in the city of Memphis, oh no, they shooting at everybody, y'all. The police trying to kill people. The police just trying to kill people all over the place. They trying to kill black boys. But in them other places, people know don't go to Bartlett acting stupid. People know don't go to Germantown acting stupid, because Dale Lane, he gonna let them get at you. People don't know to go to Millington acting stupid, because out there near the Navy base, they gonna get you, partner, and you ain't gonna hear nothing else about it. But here in the city of Memphis, oh, they targeting black boys. They trying to kill black boys. Oh, Lord Jesus. I want you to look real close at who's committing the crimes in this city. At some point, we, the citizens of the city of Memphis, have to take responsibility. I don't care if you're black, white, green, yellow, made of cheese. We got to take responsibility for what's happening in this city, and we have to call it what it is. Just like an alcoholic, you can't fix the problem until you admit it's a problem. Once you admit it's a problem, then you can start taking and putting together courses of actions to address the problem realistically and not all of this bullshit. I got to the end. God, I was hoping I made it all the way, but it was at the end. But we got to stop looking at the bull crap. And we got to start dealing with the issues at hand. Bring the electric chair back. I don't care. If you kill 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, put them in an electric chair. There has to be consequences for your actions. And individuals have to know that there are consequences for your actions. And what we're doing now is we love everybody. We don't want nobody. Please don't hurt nobody, y'all. Don't hurt nobody. They didn't mean it. He killed 6 people, but he ain't mean it. Lies. He killed 6 people. He knew what he was doing. No, he was on the X pills. He shouldn't have took them. Back in the day, they didn't ask you why you did it. They just said you killed 6 people intentionally. So you got to die. But guess what? That made people think, man, if I go out here and kill 6 people, that means they're going to kill me. Maybe I shouldn't kill 6 people. Maybe they should put a law in effect. If you steal something out of a person's car, you get your hands cut off. That's what they do in other countries, people. Michael, you're taking it to the extreme. I know we not finna cut nobody hands off, man. The ACLU and everybody else will be acting crazy. But what I am saying is, you steal something out of somebody's car, there should be a stiffer law that says, if you steal something out of somebody's car, and especially if you take a gun, minimum 10 years. Minimum. That's what I'm talking about. Not cutting their hands off, but holding them accountable. Okay. Hey, man, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Miss Debbie sitting there just going back and forth, back and forth. She's making me dizzy, y'all. She done showed me like 9 signs, 3 minutes, 1 minute. I done went over. She ready to go. But I just want to say that thank you guys so much for tuning in to Memphis 360. It's been a plum, pleasing pleasure. So until next week, same time, same location. Be blessed, be strong, be encouraged, and we'll see you next week. Talk to you later.
We're gonna make you fall in love with SVPGV.